This is the field that we did some hunting on about a month ago, midden site, and you can see the corn has gotten a little bit larger, taller, but there's still plenty of open ground to explore. Maybe you can see the color change up at the border of this midden area. It goes from black to the yellow. Anyway, we're going to do a little more crawl on here today. It's been rained on, even though it's been hunted by many people since we did it a month ago. We're still going to do some crawling and see if we can come up with some artifacts today. The field's been rained upon. There's no fresh footprints, so we might be able to find a few things. For instance, right down here's a piece of pottery. Another piece over here. And a few foot away I found a pipe stem. This is, of course, a later find, probably from the 1800s. Another piece of pottery right next to a rather large chunk of animal bone. Well, a bead did appear. Try and get down here. Get this little guy out. Nice little blue bead. A few more foot down the row. Piece of brass appears. So we'll see if we can't see what this is about. Appears to have been cut. We're going to have to clean that up. Take a look at it at home. Well, finally crawled up on a pretty nice little point. Nice little triangle. Let's see if we can get over here. Locate this thing. Get it out. Thin. Nice. Those are the kind you like to find. Well, 5 minutes later, came across another one. See right there? Okay, there we go. Partially hidden, but looks pretty good to me. Another chert one. Finally made. Thing in this part of the field, there's some of this plastic which very much resembles the chert, so that there's probably people who are missing these thinking it's just a hunk of plastic, so have to be very observant when you're doing this. Well, we're going to be leaving the field for this morning. Put the artifacts here, back of the car, take them home and clean them up. I was doing a little privy digging a couple days ago and haven't gotten the stuff back to the shed yet. Sort of have to go with priorities. When you can find things in the field, you go find things in the field. Well, we cleaned the finds from this morning, washed them down. Take a little bit closer look at them. Over here's the pottery. You can see some of the patterns and sizing on it. Different size pieces. In this corner you have the flakes, chips, work stone, things such as that. Up in this corner, you have the animal bones, burnt and just plain. This happens to be a very interesting, unusual chunk of bone. It has these very bright areas which almost seem like enamel. I have no idea what kind of a critter this thing came from. Probably show this to someone in the state osteology program with their archaeology department. See if they can come up with some ideas. This happens to be a quartz hammerstone. You can see the way it was banged, knocking down rocks, forming them into points. We're getting ready to form into points. And of course that has some damage. That's probably why it was discarded. Up here we have a interesting piece. It appears to have been polished, worked down on the sides and on the surface. The pock marks are from being placed in a fire, which also indicate that it would have been, somewhere around the village area. So we'll have to do a little more investigating on what that might have been. Couple animal teeth, and these are some of the points. Remember the better ones, which are nice. Some of the more damaged ones. Very nice piece of lithics material there next to the jasper. Type of very colorful variegated chert. Worked that side. This is broken away, but the color on that thing is just beautiful. And this, of course, is the hunk of cut brass. You can see that it definitely was cut on all sides. And if you look on the back, you can see carbon deposits, indicating that it was first a copper, or I should say brass kettle, which was then cut into arrowheads or made into jinglers or things such as that at a later time. Interesting piece. And the last thing I'm not quite too sure about is over here. It appears to be a little net sinker. There even seems to be some wear on the stone there, but the small size makes it seem to be more likely just some sort of a weight or something, if it is anything at all. But basically, that's the prehistoric finds for the morning. And I almost forgot the blue bead. A little bit bigger than the seed beads that we got the last time. So, nice day. Jumping over to the historic material, you can see the early 19th century china fragments. Over here, a piece of pipe stem we found. This is an interesting piece of glass. Has a definite marking, striations on the surface, and you can see that it's very wavy, and probably a piece of a 18th century bottle. Try and do a little bit more research on that one. Down here, parts of 2 sodas. This one has the partial Columbia, PA on it, which would date it probably in the late 1840s or early 1850s. And then the very corner is a fossil. We put it in with this stuff because it's a cool fossil, and I didn't know what else exactly to place it, since it isn't from the prehistoric Native American period. So that's it for today, and hopefully we'll get out to the site again before the corn gets too high.